On today's episode of Homeworthy, we're taking you to Palos Verdes, California for a look inside designer and blogger Ajai Guyot's Scandinavian-Inspired home. Ajai and her family live in a charming townhome that she lovingly renovated to match their style, all while staying within budget. Their home features neutral colors, cozy nooks, and DIY touches throughout. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
Hi Homeworthy, my name is Ajai. I'm in Torrance, California, and this is my home. Come in so I can show you around. We are in Torrance, California, and I live in a Tudor-style townhome that consists of a few different design styles. You'll find some Parisian elements, some Scandinavian, wabi-sabi, and some English cottage elements as well. I live here with my 3-year-old toddler and my husband. When I first saw this home, I was a bit taken back. It wasn't the cutest, but what sold me was the outside. It kind of felt like Cotswolds, cottagey, cozy, so I knew that if I just gave it a little TLC, it could be exactly what me and my family wanted. My husband loves wabi-sabi, so I tried to incorporate that. I myself am a Scandinavian girl. I like clean lines. I like to be able to see the baseboards in my house, but after having traveled to a few European places, I love Parisian, so you'll see a bit of that. And I also love how the English do things, so you'll see some of that in my home as well. We are in my living room. This is the place that me and my family spend the most time. And let's start with the case. It's something that I love. It's actually 6 pieces. I just wanted to put something like avant-garde and have it be the focal point in the living room, and I keep typically my books and then I'll swap out flowers. The books were gifted to me by a brand that I work with the challenge for me to read all of them. Haven't gotten through all of them, probably about 10, but I'm working my way. The sofa I chose just because we have a little bit of a smaller, kind of wonky layout, so I figured a L sofa would be the best. This is where we're just plopping down, watching TV, but it works for the space. And then got my coffee table. Most of what you'll see is antiqued or thrifted or secondhand. I love to make sure I'm picking beautiful things, but things that are functional. So the rug is from Etsy and it's an antique. So is the table. This is a recent DIY. I just finished this one. I'm so proud of it. I got it for $30. Stained it, looks perfect in the space, but it's just a nice place for us to just kind of come in and put our keys and whatnots down in. Still pretty. Here is one of the portraits that I collected. I like to find portraits from another time, more vintage, of people of color. I love how the English do it, but what I notice is just really hard. So I feel really lucky when I can find a Creole or mixed or any type of minority still being depicted in one of these photos. I have another Creole lady. We call her Lady Lucy. Lady Lucy, Lady Margot, and you'll probably see that I like to collect these portraits throughout the house. And I feel lucky when I can get my hands on one of them. Now I would love to show you my dining area, so follow me. This is my dining area, one of my second favorite places to be. Love to cook. I love to have the family sit around and just kind of talk about our day. Our 3-year-old is now saying sentences, so we're excited about that. This is where we get most of those sentences out of him. But this is a table that I built and stained, and you'll see it's not perfect, but that's kind of the purpose. I let candle wax get all over it. My little one spills, but it's just, that's what makes it special. So love that. And then I got these chairs secondhand, antiqued. The rug is a secondhand as well. And I like to go with jute typically under the dining area just because of spills and the traffic, and I think it still looks nice as well. But love my little DIY. And then I kind of have a theme going in here where there are silver meets brass elements. So love this sconce that I just got recently, sconce of my dreams. I switched this out 6 times before I found the perfect light. So really happy that you guys made it to the 6th one. This is the final, but love that. And then I have a portrait just kind of, I feel like these are the things that you'll find mostly in my kitchen. Onions, beets, pots, but yeah, I don't know, for some reason it just reminds me of the vignettes that are always in my kitchen. So here are a few of my favorite places to procure home decor. I'll give you some secondhand, thrift, and just brands I love in general. This is from Rejuvenation. Obsessed with them. You will see their lighting throughout my house as well. As far as antiques are concerned, I love Facebook Marketplace. That's how I scored these bent wood chairs. Very hard to come by, but got still a really good price on these. I love to shop at the Restore, Habitat for Humanity. When I tell you, you'll see, because I have other pieces inside of my kitchen that came from there too. It's one of my favorite things, but don't sleep on the Restore. Habitat for Humanity is always great. Facebook Marketplace, Pepe's, they're here in the Los Angeles County area. They have really good finds. Honestly, I could go on and on and on, but just in general, thrifting, Habitat for Humanity. And the final one would be Sixpenny. I feel like they have such good quality pieces. Their pieces have soul. Olive Atelier as well. Yeah, those are gonna be some good places as well. Now we are in my kitchen, and this is one of my favorite places to be. 1, because I love to cook, and 2, because I have touched every single nook and cranny in here. This was the biggest DIY that I did in the entire house, so I'm quite proud of it, and I think it turned out amazing. I came in with the goal to complete this space for around $6,000, and I made the budget, happy to say, and I'll just show you a few things that to me make a home special and give soul to a home. It's just doing that, making sure you touch everything and be intentional about what you style with. So you'll find things like my faucet. I found this, it was handmade. That one was from Etsy. And then also things like the stool, antiques, and you'll just notice the trend of a lot of things that I am putting my special touch on. So to me, that's what gives things a soul. They have a story. So I am DIYing and renovating and doing all of these little things with my own hands, and buying things that are also antiqued and have a story. I like to ask the person that I'm buying the item from the story behind the item, so I have a good idea what I'm bringing into my home. So that's always important to me. And literally everything that I pick up, I'll be able to tell you a story about. We're not going to do that today because we'd be here all day, but everything has a story. And let's start with this piece. This is one of my favorite stories. I found this at Habitat for Humanity Restore, and it was actually coming off of the truck, the person who was donating it, and they loved it and were moving and couldn't take it to, I guess they were just trying to minimize, but I gladly accepted it. I got it for around, it was $30 or $40, and it needed some love, and I sanded it, stained it, and now I use it as just extra storage in our kitchen. I love this piece so much. So beautiful, love the curvature. And I believe originally it was made, I want to say somewhere in New England, but also a handmade item with a beautiful story. Speaking of other stories, my mugs, some of them are made by my husband and I. Every birthday he takes me to throw. So some of the pieces are going to be things that we actually made. And it's kind of special to be able to drink out of them and just have those memories. This is another space that I feel like is intentional and a fun story. I went out and had a electrician come in to quote me for sconces. I didn't like what the quote came back as. So I found these for a reasonable price, and in order to achieve the same amount of accent light, I just added lanterns, and those are the candles. So when I'm cooking, I like to light them, make it a little moody in here and fun, turn on some jazz, and works for me. I think it gets the job done. I have more lighting from Rejuvenation. I love their lighting. They didn't tell me to say that. I just really love it. I also got this from Rejuvenation. I try to have things throughout the house, catch-alls, trays, racks. So that is another tip in just kind of being organized. I like to just kind of hang random things on there. And then with the trays, as you'll see, as long as you put it in a tray or some sort of basket, I feel like it looks organized. So I got my garlic, onions, fruit. Now I'm going to show you my little laundry nook. It was a disaster when we got the house, but I finally got into a place where it is in working order and organized for my family. So we just have the shelves added, and I just try to keep a storage organized, and we got some labels for my husband, who's always asking me where everything is, clearly defined here. And then I'm so happy about these. These are the latest edition. I was going to the wash house, so I'm happy to be able to do laundry here at home, meet my washer and dryer. They're my best friends lately. So this is our little laundry nook, and it gets the job done. Now let's go upstairs so I can show you my office. Well, my husband's office. So this is my husband's office. I tried to design it based off all of the things that he loves. I'm not someone who just sits in one space when I work, so he needed a dedicated space, and I think we did it. He loves wabi-sabi, loves clean lines, he loves a moody space, and when he showed me this maroon color, this was the design inspiration for the room in general, and from there I built and chose the desk. He loves natural materials, so you'll see some wood, and we got marble, and big on shapes, so I tried to play around with shapes and different materials, the linen drapes, and he's just now getting into guitar playing, so he's been taking lessons. These are his first guitars, so I wanted to display those and just have him be inspired throughout the workday and excited to go to his lessons afterwards. He is a fragrance connoisseur, so here's where we keep the candles, and he has a little nook here where he has all of his favorite colognes and lotions, and so I wanted to have a little space where he could display those, and then he has his like business files there as well. These are the tchotchkes that he's collected over time, which I'm really proud of because he did not start off as a antique type of person, but being with me for over a decade, he's into it now. So these are pieces that he's collected over time and just kind of have on display. One of the portraits, he calls this man Sir Harrison. He says that he's just stately and inspires him to want to get to work. So I thought that was cute. Got that framed, and I put that in here. And then we just have a few different books. This is actually me that put those there. And this is his workspace. It's missing 2 monitors because he's not here right now, but this is where he works. Loves to look outside, loves to have the breeze head on, and got him a comfy linen Scandinavian chair from 6 penny. Love that it's a slip cover because if there are any spills, I just pick it up, throw it in the washer. That is another tip that I will give for building an intentional, functional, beautiful home: slip covers. So every large furniture piece in my home is typically going to be a slip cover because I can just pull it off, throw it in the washer, and put it right back on. So good information there. Another tip that I can give would be to have catch-all bowls and catch-all trays. In my family, we have baskets, bowls, trays in every room, and throughout the week we just kind of throw tchotchkes and blankets, different things in those, and then on Fridays we go through and we empty them out and organize them, and it just kind of helps the space not feel so cluttered throughout the week and kind of makes it feel like it's still livable in a way. This is the last little area that we have here. These are typically where I leave my reminders to my husband. Right now we are working on reupholstering some stools, so I just kind of have some samples there for him to choose from. He wants to give his 2 cents, so he needs to get to that actually. We need to choose a sample so we can get those stools reupholstered. So fun story, my husband and I were actually kind of hooked up by a more mature woman, Diane. She was around 80 years old and she was feisty. So I worked at Nordstrom at the time. I was a stylist at Nordstrom, and she worked in the Nordstrom Cafe, and she worked at Dick's Sporting Goods where my husband worked at the time. And when I would go into the cafe, she would always tell me, you know, there's this tall glass of water that I just need you to drink at my other job. And I was like, this lady is crazy. So I ignored it for months. But then finally, she told me that she would give me a discount on yoga clothes. I'm a yogi, love yoga, at Dick's. So I went into the store for her discount, and right before she rang me out, she goes, you remember that tall glass of water that I told you about? And then she points to my now husband, and I go, oh. So I'm like, okay, you can give him my number. Yeah, let's do it. So I got a call that following week of Jonathan. That's my husband, his name. He goes, Diana told me that I needed to take you on a date. She says you're cute and that it was a must. And so let's see what happens. So we go to the dinner, and it was love at first sight. He is a tall glass of water. I drank it clearly because we've been married for 8 years now, and we've known each other for 12 years. So yeah, that is how I met my husband. And this is his space. Let me take you into my newly renovated bathroom. I'm excited to show you that because I DIY'd it. We are now in my bathroom, small space, but we made it work. It is a DIY that I'm very proud of. It is a budget-friendly DIY renovation, and we started with the counters. They are sample, so that is another tip that I can give for anyone who's wanting to renovate or remodel their space and go the budget-friendly route. Go for the sample pieces always. This was $300, I believe, for a slab of quartz, and we like to use the whole material. I never throw away things, so I just brought it up larger for a larger side splash area. But that is another thing. I just decided to just repaint the cabinet area, so that wasn't too costly, and I have some handmade handles here. Another theme in my home is hearts, so you'll see just little items with hearts, and that I kind of fell in love with these because I saw the hearts on the handles. I knew I had to have them, but that's what makes the space, again, soulful, intentional, cozy. Another DIY was the tile. I have it up here, something that I did, took me about 2 days, but definitely worth it. Just wanted to bring more texture into the space and just more eye candy, also easier to clean as well. So I have this side of the wall that I've done, and then a little nook behind the door as well. And that is my bathroom. Something else that I wanted to do to make this space just a bit more fun and fill it with texture was to add some pattern. When I'm working with small spaces, one of my goals to just make the design great is to just play around with as much texture as possible. So if we don't have a lot of area to cover, I'm gonna go for the marble floors with the contrast. Love any juxtaposed type of material and color. So you'll find that in my space as well, because it's tiny but packed with quality and beauty. Now let me take you to my bedroom. So this is my bedroom, and it to me embodies what home means to me. It needs to be a place of reprieve and relaxation and security. I want my place to feel safe, and that is the biggest design inspiration here. I wanted a relaxing, tranquil, safe space to lay my head down at night. Our room is based off of different places that we've traveled to that felt the most relaxing. So Italy is one of those places. There was a villa that we stayed in, and I felt like it was one of the last places that I was really just able to rest. So that's the big thing here, is rest. Also, Germany was a place that I loved. We stayed in a hotel room there. So I wanted it to feel like a hotel room because whatever it is they're doing in hospitality, it makes you never want to leave. So I figured maybe we should do this in our home. So, but not too much to where it's not fun and interesting. So my husband and I DIY'd this case here, and it's all of our tchotchkes and things that we have collected over time from our travels, and just things that we like to have on display that we look at and that make us happy and smile, and things that also just help us to want to relax. So I have photo albums where we just kind of sit and look at our photo albums. I have books for our reading nook that we have here. We thought it was important to not have a TV in our room because, again, we are trying to encourage resting. So books, anything like of that nature, candles you're going to find, and some of our favorite tchotchkes. We just came back from Cape Cod a few days ago for Mother's Day. It was a little Mother's Day surprise that they took me to, and I found these at one of the little seashore places. This ceramic place, this has a little heart here, which I love. I told you about those hearts. And then Love Sage, I feel like is just such a relaxing color, so you'll see sage throughout my house as well. And another little heart tchotchke that I picked up along the way, where I keep our wedding rings in there. And this one is an interesting piece. We got this in Cape Cod. I had to disassemble it and to get it in our suitcase, and I'm so happy it fit because it made it back in one, well, not in one piece, in several pieces. So we put it back together, and it is a birthing stool. And I found this on Mother's Day, and I thought, what are the odds? And I love a brutalist piece, so I thought it was perfect for the space, and just reminds me of being a mama. Something else that I wanted to touch on, and it's sort of a tip, if you want to have budget-friendly design or decor pieces, make your own art. That is something that I also do, and you will see pieces in the house. My toddler and I made this, played around with different textures and fabrics, and just painted it, and it's one of my favorite pieces to look at. And also walls. We wanted to have something of like a plaster look texture, so I did a little DIY where you'll see playing around with texture in the room. Plastering can be, or lime wash plastering can be a little bit pricey. So I kind of came up with a way to create that same look or effect on the walls. And so yes, just get creative. That's another tip that I would say. Instead of adding wainscoting to the bottom of our wall, I just did like a bit of a contrast in color or hue, and created that contrast in the color. This is another DIY that I created. I just got a large canvas, had it framed, and then played around with more texture and hue. And I'm a big fan of kind of like abstract and Scandinavian art, and I find that creating it is sometimes more budget friendly than purchasing. So that's one of my last tips that I have for you.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.